Welcome to Miss Young Tutors. We are focusing on rounding integers and decimals. Have you heard of the rhyme, 0 to 4, you slide to the floor. 5 to 9, you climb the vine. This rhyme will help you understand how to round easier. So let's use an example to help us. So we've got the number 2,534 and I want to round it to the nearest 100. So before I start, I need to underline and circle my two numbers that are going to help me to round this number to the nearest 100. So circle the target number. So we're going to circle our hundreds column. So that's our 5. And then we're going to underline our bossy neighbour. And our bossy neighbour is going to tell us whether we're going to go up to 2,600 or down to 2,500. And as we can see, our 3 fits in the 0 to 4, we slide to the floor. So therefore, our 3 is going to make us go down to our nearest 100. So our nearest 100 for 2,534 is 2,500. Everything before our hundreds column stays the same, so the 2 stays the same. But everything after our hundreds column turns into zeros. There are place value zeros. Let's look at some questions all together. So first question, which of these numbers gives 80 when rounded to the nearest 10? So let's look at each one. We're going to circle our target number, so that's our 8, and we're going to underline our 4. So our 84, we can see that that's going to round down to 80, so we can circle this one. 87, our 7 is going to make us go up, and that would go to 90, so we know that's not correct. 72, our 2 is going to go down, so that means our number's now going to be 17, rounded to the nearest 10. Our 6 is going to make us go up, so we can see that 76 rounded to the nearest 10 is going to be 80. And we can see 90 rounded to the nearest 10. Well, it's already in the tens. It's a tens number, so we know that that wouldn't change. So 90 stays the same. Next question. Round 84,516 to the nearest 10. So I'm going to write it out. 84,516 to the nearest 10. We're going to circle our tens column and we're going to underline our bossy neighbour. And our bossy neighbour is in our 5 to 9, we climb the vine, so we're going to go up. Therefore, everything else at the beginning stays the same. So 84,500, and because we've gone up, we change that to 20. Now to our nearest 100, 84,516. We circle our 5, because that's the number we're changing that we've identified. Our 1 is our bossy neighbour. That's telling us to go down, because 0 to 4, we climb to the floor. So 84,500. And finally, to our nearest 1,000, 84,516. So we're going to circle our 1,000 column, underline our hundreds, our bossy neighbour. Our bossy neighbour is going to tell us to go up, climb the vine. So our 4 turns into 5, so 85,000. We need to make sure we change those digits after the column we've identified to zeros. Next question, round 124,531 to the nearest 10,000. So 124,531. I'm going to circle my 10,000 column, underline my bossy neighbour. My bossy neighbour is telling me to go down. So our number is 120,000. 124,531 to the nearest 1,000. So we've circled our 1,000 column, underlined our hundreds column. Our 5 is telling us to go up. So 125,000. And make sure you've got your placeholder zeros in there. And lastly, to 100, nearest 100, 124,531. circle our hundreds, underline our tens. Our 3 is telling us to go down. So we know 124,500. Next question. Round 39.17 to 1 decimal place. So let's write it out. 39.17. We want 1 decimal place. We're going to circle our first decimal place. We're going to underline our bossy neighbour. They're telling us to go up. They're telling us to climb the vine. So we know our 39.17 to 1 decimal place is 39.2. You could add a 0 in, but because it asks you for 1 decimal place, you only need 1 digit after the decimal place. Now we want to round it to the nearest whole number, so 39.17. So we're now looking, so we're circling our ones digit and we're underlining our bossy number. He's telling us to go down, so we're going to go down to 39. Again, you don't need any decimal points. You don't need any decimal places after the decimal point because it asks you for a whole number or an integer. So make sure you understand what an integer is, but it just means a whole number. Next question, round the following numbers. 540 to the nearest 100. So we're going to circle our 5, underline our 4. Our 4 is telling us to go down, 0 to 4, slide to the floor. So we know our nearest 100 is 500 because our only options are 500 and 600, and 540 is closer to 500. 236 to the nearest 10, circle our 10, underline our bossy number. He's telling us to go up to the next 10 because our options could be 230 or 240, and we know 36 is closer to 40. So 236 to the nearest 10 is 240. Here we've got a bit of a trickier one because it's giving us in a fraction. Let's convert 1 3/4 to a decimal place. So 1 3/4 equals 1.75. We want it to the nearest whole number. So we're circling our 1, underlining our bossy neighbour. He's telling us to go up. So our options could be 1 or 2. And 1.75 is closer to 2. So we know that 2 is our whole number. Next question. Complete this table by rounding the values to the nearest whole number. So we've got 19.4. So rounding it to the nearest number, circle our 1, underline our 4. That's telling us to go down. Our options could be 19 or 20. And as we know, 0.4 is closer to the 19. So our whole number is 19. Next one, circle the 0, underline the 8 for 590.83. Our 8 is telling us to go up. So our whole number is 591. Because it's a whole number, we don't need those decimal places because all it would be is 0.00, which would just be the same as writing 591. Next one, circle the 3, underline the 4. Our 4 is telling us to go down. So we can see 173.46 to the nearest whole number is 173. And finally, 309.5. So we are circling our 9, underlining our 5. 5 is telling us to climb the vine. It's telling us to go up. So we can see 309.5 to the nearest whole number is 310. And finally, we've got a little bit of a different question here. This is more of a problem-solving question instead of just an arithmetic, mental maths question like the last ones have been. And here we've got the difference between two numbers is 2. When each number is rounded to the nearest 100, the difference between them is 100. So if we've got two numbers that have a difference of them between 100, we know that one needs to go up and one needs to go down. And if we also know the number in the middle would be 50, because this number, if we rounded a number below 50, it would go to 0. And if we rounded a number above 50, it would go to 100, and that gives us our difference of 100. And if the difference between the two numbers is 2, we know they only could be 1 either side, so we've got 49 and 51. Therefore, we could have any two numbers that have 49 and 51 as their last two digits. So you could have, there's multiple options you could have. So you could have 49 and 51, because let's check it, there's difference of 2, 49, 50, 51. And if we round 49 to the nearest 100, we go to 0. And if we round 51 to the nearest 100, we go to 100. Therefore, there's a 100 difference. We could also have 149 and 151. So again, only two difference. Round 149 down to 100, round 151 up to 200, a difference of 100. You could have 249, 251, 349, 351, and so on and so on. And they would all give you the mark. Thank you for watching Miss Young Tutors. Hopefully that has helped you understand rounding a little bit more, especially rounding to integers and decimals. And hopefully you now know the rhyme: 0 to 4, slide to the floor, 5 to 9, climb the vine. And use the process: identify the place value that you are rounding to, circle that number, underline its bossy neighbour, and then use the rhyme to help you whether to go up or down, and then change the remaining digits. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed.